There are stories that are not told in books, not found in glorious epic lines. They whisper in the deep of night, hidden in the sound of the crashing waves and the breath of the wind, where the world of the gods never sleeps. And amongst the many faces on the summit of Olympus, there is one woman so beautiful that even the gods turn to look, and the world must bow before one thing: beauty. It is not just her appearance, it is power, an invisible weapon capable of stirring hearts, creating love, and even war. She is Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. But do you think a goddess who represents love and beauty should be a symbol of sweetness, gentleness, and goodness? No. The truth about Aphrodite is far from simple, for her beauty is not to be admired. It is to be feared. The love she brings is not always a blessing. Sometimes it is the steep cost of desire, jealousy, and loss. From the moment of her birth, she was unlike any other goddess. Not the daughter of Zeus, nor the product of divine love. She was born from a ruthless act of revenge, a pool of blood falling into the sea, merging with the foam, and from that she arose. The world praises her as the symbol of ultimate beauty, but few know that it was she, with a gentle smile, who plunged the entire world into chaos. A goddess so beautiful it is dangerous. Now let me tell you the story of Aphrodite, where beauty is destiny, a weapon, and a curse. Before Aphrodite, the mythical world was a chaotic painting of power and revenge, and it was from an act of such cosmic vengeance that she, the goddess of love and beauty, was born. Long ago, before Zeus ascended to the throne of Olympus, the sky was ruled by Uranus, the sky god, and the earth was ruled by Gaia, the earth mother. These primordial deities gave birth to countless children, the mighty titans, strange creatures, and ultimately, a scheme for revenge set the stage for Aphrodite's arrival. Gaia, trapped in agony, despised her cruel husband and asked her son, Cronus, to rebel. And so, one fateful night, when the sky was still, Cronus took a massive sickle and castrated Uranus, throwing the severed parts into the sea. The drops of blood fell into the ocean, mixing with the foam, swirling with the tides like an ancient ritual. From there, something strange occurred. Amidst the white foam, a figure emerged, breathtaking, radiant like the first light of dawn. A woman with long hair like the ocean's waves, eyes as deep as the sea, and skin as soft as a petal. She was Aphrodite. She was not born of love, but of revenge and violence. Yet her beauty soothed everything. As she stepped ashore, flowers bloomed beneath her feet. The wind stopped blowing. Birds ceased singing. Nature itself seemed to hold its breath, admiring her presence. No god could resist her allure. Olympus paused as Aphrodite ascended the sacred mountain where the gods gathered. Even Zeus, the ruler of all, was shaken. However, Zeus was not naive. He knew that her beauty could do more than make people fall in love. It could spark rivalries, leading to chaos. To prevent a war among the gods over her, Zeus married her off to Hephaestus, the ugly and crippled god of blacksmithing. Thus, beauty born from sea foam entered the world of the gods. But Aphrodite's appearance was not the end. It was only the beginning of the tragedies to come. Aphrodite's arrival among the gods was not just a breath of fresh air. It was a hidden storm. She embodied beauty, desire, and the deepest longing in the hearts of both gods and mortals. But this beauty did not bring peace. It was something that could topple Olympus if left unchecked. Zeus, aware of the potential danger, arranged a strange marriage. He wed Aphrodite to Hephaestus, the blacksmith god. He was skilled, but ugly and deformed, often mocked by other gods. Zeus believed that with such a husband, Aphrodite would settle down and cause no trouble. But love cannot be forced, and beauty cannot stay still. Aphrodite, though married to Hephaestus, fell in love with Ares, the god of war, strong, fierce, and dangerous. They became a secret couple, hiding in the shadows of Olympus to fulfill their fiery passion. This illicit affair spread like a curse, making the gods skeptical and leaving Hephaestus, the betrayed husband, filled with fury. One day, he used his skill to craft a fine golden net, invisible to the eye but unbreakable. He set the trap on his own bed, and one fateful night, when Aphrodite and Ares were lost in their love, the golden net suddenly tightened around their naked bodies, trapping them in shame. Hephaestus did not hide the scandal. He summoned all the male gods to Olympus to witness the betrayal. The sight made the gods laugh, not because of Hephaestus's humiliation, but because Aphrodite's naked beauty was so captivating that even those watching could not look away. Even in shame, she remained the most alluring, the most dangerous goddess, a beauty that stirred the heart, regardless of reason or morality. From then on, Aphrodite became the symbol of free, passionate love and betrayal. She followed no rules. She loved when she wanted, possessed hearts as a game, and left behind broken, desperate, and sometimes mad lovers. She captivated not only the gods, mortals too fell into her web. Anchises, a mortal man, was tricked into loving her in the guise of a mortal woman. When he realized that he had been with a goddess, he went mad. For in Greek mythology, anyone who sees the true form of a god must face punishment. But the most notable effect of her beauty is the obsession it breeds. For she does not only make people love, she makes them desire, possess, and destroy. She plants a passion so deep, but rarely gives full reciprocation. Those who love her, or are loved by her, must pay the price of loss. With Ares, it was shame. With Anchises, madness. With Adonis, the young man she loved most, it was a tragic death. But that is another story. Aphrodite's beauty is not a gift. It is a challenge. It makes the world want to claim her, to own that perfect beauty. But like a blazing fire, the closer you get, the more easily you are consumed. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, is not sweetness and gentleness. She is a whirlwind of emotions, the embodiment of primal desire, beautiful to the point of madness, but as terrifying as the price of passion. If her beauty can melt the hearts of the gods, it is also the same beauty that led to the fall of a great city, the destruction of thousands of lives in the flames of war, and it all began with a golden apple. Let's return to a lavish feast on top of Olympus, the wedding of Peleus, a mortal hero, and the sea nymph Thetis. All the gods were invited, except one, Eris, the goddess of discord. Angry at being slighted, Eris secretly dropped a golden apple onto the banquet table, inscribed with the words, "For the fairest, just one apple," and it instantly became the spark that ignited the peace of Olympus. Three of the most powerful goddesses approached: Hera, the queen of the gods; Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war; and Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Each believed she deserved it. Each thought that possessing the apple would prove her supreme worth. None would yield. Finally, Zeus, wise but pragmatic, refused to judge and pushed the responsibility onto a mortal, Paris, the prince of Troy, a young man living in seclusion among the mountains. Thus began the greatest beauty contest in history. All three goddesses approached Paris, each offering a promise, a sacred bribe. Hera promised Paris supreme power, making him king of all Europe and Asia. Athena promised him unmatched wisdom and victory in every battlefield. But Aphrodite offered no crown or sword. She whispered, "I will give you the love of the most beautiful woman in the world." Paris did not hesitate. He awarded the golden apple to Aphrodite, and from that moment, the fate of Troy was sealed. The most beautiful woman in the world at that time was Helen, the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. With the help of Aphrodite, Paris seduced and took Helen away to Troy. It was not just a kidnapping. It was a severe insult to Greek royalty. King Menelaus was enraged, and together with his brother Agamemnon, they gathered the greatest heroes and warriors of Greece to launch a full-scale attack on Troy, which lasted for 10 long years. Thus began the Trojan War, all because of a promise made by the goddess of beauty. In this war, Aphrodite did not remain an observer. She directly intervened, protecting Paris from fatal blows, shielding him with a divine mist. And even when Paris was wounded, it was she who brought him back safely. But Aphrodite's favoritism angered the other gods. Athena, who had lost in the golden apple dispute, sided with the Greeks, along with Hera, and intensified the relentless slaughter. On the battlefield, men killed each other for honor, for love, for hatred, but behind all of it, it was the gods' game, the result of a wound called, "Who is the most beautiful?" Aphrodite, thought to be the symbol of love, inadvertently sparked one of the greatest tragedies in Greek mythology. The love she gave Paris was blind obsession. Helen's beauty was a trap that caused the deaths of thousands. And the golden apple, the symbol of supreme beauty, turned out to be just an excuse for jealousy, ambition, and downfall. Perhaps, from the moment she was born from sea foam, the world was never the same. Aphrodite's love was unlike any other in Greek mythology. It was not simply tenderness, loyalty, or compassion. It was a love that burned like fire, enchanted like mist, and always came with a price. Sometimes honor, sometimes life. One of the most tragic stories of Aphrodite's love was her affair with Adonis, the mortal so beautiful that even the gods were enamored with him. There are 2 myths about Adonis's origin. One says he was the son of King Thais and Princess Myrrha, who was turned into a myrrh tree for committing incest. When the tree cracked, Adonis was born from that crack, a birth both sacred and sinful. Aphrodite saw him and, from the very first glance, was captivated by his pure beauty. She took Adonis to hide in the deep forest, keeping him hidden from the gods, and cherished him like a precious gem. But Aphrodite was not a goddess who could keep her affections for just one person. At the same time, she was still infatuated with Ares, the fiery god of war and extreme jealousy. Ares, when he discovered Aphrodite's feelings for Adonis, did not react with loud anger. He chose a more dangerous path, one of patience and cruelty. One day, when Adonis went hunting in the forest, a giant wild boar appeared and attacked him. Although a skilled hunter, Adonis could not withstand the fatal blow. He collapsed in a pool of bright red blood. It is said that Ares transformed into that beast. Using its wild form to end his rival, Aphrodite rushed to him, but it was too late. She held the bloodied body of her lover, tears mixing with the red blood. From the spot where Adonis fell, anemone flowers grew, fragile, short-lived, symbolizing love that is brief but intense. She cried, begged, and finally persuaded Zeus to divide Adonis's time. He would spend 6 months with her on Earth, and the remaining 6 months in the underworld with Persephone, the goddess of the dead, who had also fallen for him. Adonis became a soul torn between 2 goddesses, 2 worlds, light and darkness, love and death. Not only Adonis, but Aphrodite's love always came with a hidden bargain. She bestowed love as if granting a miracle, but anyone who received it had to face unexpected transformations. Another example is Pygmalion, a lonely artist who did not believe in women and only loved a stone statue. But he carved a statue so perfect that he fell in love with his own creation. Moved by his love, Aphrodite gave life to the statue. The girl from stone became Pygmalion's wife. Love between man and art was rewarded. However, love from the goddess was never harmless. Some were gifted, others punished. Those who rejected love, like Hippolytus, were cursed by Aphrodite. He was caught in a deadly plot because he had rejected love and lived a pure life. Something Aphrodite saw as an insult, the goddess of love, was unforgiving of coldness. Love under Aphrodite's hand has no right or wrong, no good or evil. It is a primal force that controls both gods and men, pulling them into a whirlpool of passion, selfishness, and disaster. Perhaps that is why the ancient Greeks did not only worship Aphrodite, they feared her, for they understood that when a goddess can make someone love to madness, sacrifice everything, love to the point of destruction, then love is no longer a gift, but the most alluring curse on earth. Throughout the entire Greek mythology system, Aphrodite was one of the most worshipped gods, not just because of her mesmerizing beauty, but because of her ultimate power, control over the human heart, from the magnificent temples on Cyprus Island, where she was believed to have been born, to the marble statues in Athens. Aphrodite's beauty stood as a sacred symbol, transcending the boundaries between the divine and the mundane. People prayed to her for love, for charm, for marital preservation, even to succeed in romantic schemes. Love, a weapon no one could resist, was in her hands, but behind those prayers was a silent fear. Aphrodite was not like the ruthless war gods or the cold gods of death. She did not need weapons. Just one look, one smile, was enough to make an entire kingdom tremble, a hero lose his reason, or a god ready to betray the cause of justice. People feared her because they could not control the love she sowed in their hearts. Fear of loving the wrong person, fear of sacrificing too much, fear of loving to madness and then destroying everything. In Greek mythology, love is not always happiness. It is a chaotic force, both saving and punishing. And Aphrodite, with her timeless beauty, embodies that truth. She did not need swords or thunderbolts. She only needed to make someone love, and the whole world could change. Thus, when the Greeks offered incense to Aphrodite, they did not just pray for love, they also prayed for forgiveness, balance, and sometimes freedom from the intense emotions she had stirred in their hearts. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, is proof of a strange paradox in mythology. The most alluring is also the most dangerous. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. If you found the video helpful and interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Wishing you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.